I will admit to feeling guilty right now as an American. Guilty that the president, whose salary I help pay, is being ungracious. So ungracious as to force the president-elect, whose salary I will also help pay, to live temporarily in a D.C. hotel room with his family instead of in the official presidential guest residence at Blair House. I have therefore decided to assuage my guilt by taking it upon myself to peruse the specialty cocktail menu from the bar at the hotel where the Obamas are staying. It's a hotel called the Hay Adams. Mr. President-elect, I hear you like martinis. As penance for our national gaffe about you having to stay at a hotel, allow me to recommend that you try the Hay Adams Presidential Martini Special. Only ask them to substitute gin for the vodka and make them give you an olive that is not stuffed with cheese. Plain olive. Cheese should never be in a drink, ever. Okay? I hope that's helpful. In the meantime, with 12 days left of the Bush presidency, please enjoy the Rachel Maddow Show Lame Duck Watch, because somebody's got to do it. After days of rigorous research and reporting by this show and by you, our beloved audience, we now know that the Obamas must wait another week to check into Blair House so that none other than John Howard, the widely not cared for former Australian Prime Minister, can spend the night at Blair House with his wife on January 12th. The following day, Howard will get what he's coming to Washington for, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's right, John Howard will receive our nation's highest honor awarded to civilians. And why not? Howard supported the war in Iraq. He said that terrorists were hoping Obama would win the election, and he opposed the Kyoto Protocol on climate change. That's Bush-era Medal of Freedom material, right? Well, we called John Howard's office in Sydney today and talked with his spokesman. He said, quote, Mr. Howard is staying at the Blair House one night per the invitation. There is no entourage, which has been reported. It will be just him and his wife. It is highly unlikely he knew the situation when he accepted. Let's say he didn't. And let's say John Howard can't stay at a hotel. Maybe he doesn't have a credit card to put down for incidental expenses. Do he and his wife really need all 70,000 square feet of space, all 4 of the interconnected townhouses with 110 rooms and the 35 bathrooms that are Blair House? Couldn't the Howards just use 33 of the bathrooms so the Obamas could all brush their teeth in the morning? Joining us now is the first ever guest from Australia on the Rachel Maddow Show, Geoff Elliot, the Washington correspondent for the Australian newspaper. Mr. Elliot, thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for being here. 2009 really is a year of firsts, then. I'm honoured to be your first Australian guest.
Well, we're honoured to have you.
Yeah.
What's the reaction in Australia about John Howard being the reason why the Obamas have to stay in a hotel?
I think people are kind of a bit bemused by it all. I mean, I think the reaction probably fits in with the sort of popularity rating of Obama in Australia, which kind of tunes in with what you've seen around the world. About 65% of Australians really wanted Obama to win this election. Then I think you'd probably guess about 65% of Australians are slightly bemused, if not guffawing, at this sort of little bilateral spat that's going down.
Well, comparing popularity, would you say that John Howard is beloved in Australia? People are psyched. They think he's worthy of getting the Medal of Freedom?
One doesn't want to disparage your freedom medals here. It's a fine institution, I think, kick-started by JFK. But I think, you know, the general feeling is really like, you know, can't we just sort of move on? You know, this kind of reminds people of what the change that people wanted for the last 8 years, I guess. You know, Howard was obviously very close with George W. Bush for the last 8 years. That's obviously one of the reasons why I think perhaps he's getting this medal. You know, the two men are very close. But I think, you know, coming just a week before this brand new start for America and the world, people are kind of just wanting to focus on that, I think. Did
John Howard's relationship with George Bush hurt him electorally in Australia?
I think there was a bit of that, and the economy at home, but certainly, you know, the Iraq War was very unpopular in Australia as well. And in fact, he got thumped in the election in 2007. He in fact lost his own parliamentary seat. Our system works differently from you guys, but he actually lost his seat as well The second time only that's ever happened in Australian history. I might add, Rachel, he lost it to a very intelligent TV presenter, and she's gone on to do great things. So, you know, food for thought. Yeah.
I refuse to think about that, but thank you for suggesting it. Last question. Do you think that John Howard knew that he was ousting Obama from the Blair House? I mean, we could get conspiratorial about him and Bush sort of getting in one last laugh here.
Yeah, it sort of looks like that, doesn't it? I doubt it. I think the president obviously offered it to Howard some time back, and he accepted. In fairness, I guess the Obamas were hoping to move in a little earlier. But I do think, you know, that Howard's grandparents, you know, I think there was a great missed opportunity here in bilateral relations. I mean, they could have been helping out at Blair House, you know, making the sandwiches and helping pack off Sasha and Marla to school. I mean, you know, it could have been a great opportunity.
Geoff Elliot, Washington correspondent for the Australian newspaper. We're going to scour the Australian papers all the time to have excuses to bring you back on. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thanks very much.